So you can see I've been working on my paper mache project, and I've come up with these 3 tips that I think will be really helpful. I know you guys probably haven't done paper mache, if ever, probably not since elementary school. So my tree kind of looks like a mess right now, but it is getting there. I decided to use this cheap paper towel that the school has for us here because my sculpture is so small. This paper is just a little bit softer, and it just happens to work a little bit nicer for smaller areas, kind of getting in and getting around in all those little tiny baby crevices. If your sculpture is bigger or maybe not so detailed, you could probably get away with using paper mache and newspaper. But for my purposes, I like a little bit of a softer paper for this. And the nice thing also about the newspaper for me is that it creates kind of a bark-like texture. And since I'm doing a tree, it was kind of a happy accident. So here are my 3 tips for you guys before you get started with your paper mache layer. 1, do one little itty bitty piece at a time. And with newspaper and paper towel, if you fold it in half or at the natural fold in newspaper, you can tear it pretty evenly going with, they call it the weft of the paper, because paper is woven just like fabric is. If you tear it the other way, you get kind of a mess. So experiment with that a little bit. It's kind of satisfying to tear it, and it just cuts right along in a straight line along the weft of the paper. Okay, the next tip I have for you is as you're paper macheing, you'll see in this video coming up that I have to let it sit and rest because, like, for example, this branch here got pretty droopy, and now I have to go back in there now that it's all dry and a little more stiff and kind of repair that, maybe with a little hot glue and some more paper mache over the top to hide said hot glue. So that's another tip. You might have to walk away from it partially finished just because otherwise it's going to get gooey and drippy. And then the last thing I want to say is if you're going to do one piece at a time, sometimes you'll see in the video I put on dry pieces. Let's just pretend, and then I just get a little bit of moisture either from the actual sculpture or the bucket, and just kind of lay it nice and flat. It's supposed to think of it as like a layer of skin. That's kind of what we're doing here. So, okay, those are my tips. This should be pretty easy, maybe a little awkward at times. I know mine was as I was working on it like this. You'll see in the video, I had to just kind of walk away from it, let it dry, come back in the afternoon or the next day and do a little bit more. So I'll finish this up today, and then I'm ready for paint. Have fun.